Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the economy of 2026. And look, if you're feeling like the ground is shifting right under your feet, you're not wrong. It is.
So let's get right into it because this is the big question, right? There's this feeling of anxiety everywhere. Polls show people are more afraid of losing their jobs than ever. And yet, we're not seeing those massive headline-grabbing layoffs that we saw in past recessions. So what's the deal? Well, the answer really boils down to this one crucial term: the low hire, low fire market. Basically, companies got burned by hiring shortages a few years back, so now they're hoarding workers. They're not firing you, but they're not hiring your neighbor either. And that creates this weird economic paralysis, this feeling of being completely stuck, with nowhere to go. So, here's our game plan for how we're going to break this all down. We'll look at the anxiety, zoom out to see the slow global growth, then dive into the AI and policy shocks hitting us. After that, we'll talk about your job, give you a real survival playbook, and finally, define this new normal we're all living in.
Okay, first up, let's pull the camera back a bit, because to really get what's happening in our wallets, you have to see the bigger picture. And right now, the global economy's pulses, well, it's pretty uneven. The world is pulling in a bunch of different directions all at once.
Now, at a glance, this table might look kind of stable, right? A global average of around 3.2% seems okay, but the real story is in the details. It's a story of profound divergence. You've got the US growing kind of slowly, the euro area is basically flatlining, and then you have powerhouses like India just rocketing ahead. And this chart just drives that point home. I mean, look at that gap. It's a tale of two completely different economies. While the US is navigating the sluggish period, India is in the middle of this massive modernization, making it the fastest growing major economy on the planet. So we're not living in one global economy, we're in several, and they're all moving at totally different speeds.
And, layered on top of that slow growth is the problem that just refuses to go away: sticky inflation. Thanks to all the geopolitical turmoil, energy prices have shot up again, and that means core inflation is stuck at about 2.7%. In simple terms, the cost of living is not going down, and that just cranks up the financial pressure on everyone. So, with that shaky global picture in mind, let's zoom in on two massive shocks hitting the US economy right now. Think of it as a 1-2 punch. One is a radical new government policy, and the other is a tech revolution that's moving way faster than anyone thought possible. The first shock is political. It's called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or OBBBA, and it was signed into law last year. It's not just a small tweak, it is a complete rewiring of the American social safety net, and it's creating what experts are calling a fiscal cliff for millions of families. And the immediate human toll, it's just staggering. The official projections say that by the end of this year, a full 5 million people are expected to lose their health insurance coverage because of these changes. And it doesn't stop there. Because of new requirements for food assistance, an estimated 2 million people are projected to lose their SNAP benefits every single month. These aren't just numbers. These are profound shocks to household budgets for the most vulnerable people. But here's the other side of that coin. While the bill cuts social programs, it also gives some pretty big tax breaks and incentives to businesses. We're talking a new $25,000 deduction for small businesses, more credits for clean fuel. It's a huge shift in who the government is financially supporting. Okay, now for the second shock, and this one is technological. It's called AutoDev. And listen, this is not just a smarter chatbot. We're talking about AI that acts like a semi-autonomous agent. It's not just helping coders anymore. In some cases, it is the coder. It can build, test, and fix complex software, which is fueling this massive fear that the entire office ecosystem is on the verge of collapse. So, that brings us to the question that is on literally everyone's mind right now. In a world with slow growth, huge policy shifts, and AI that can do your job, what in the world does this mean for my job, for my career? The biggest fear out there is something called the loop of economic failure. The theory goes like this. First, AI displaces office workers. Then, those people stop commuting, so they stop buying coffee, getting lunch out, or using ride shares. That means the gig drivers and food vendors who depended on them lose their income. And finally, as everyone's budget gets tighter, they just cook at home, which craters the whole restaurant and service economy. It's a terrifying domino effect. So what we're actually seeing is this giant split right down the middle of the job market. On one side, you have jobs that AI is getting scarily good at. Think paralegals, bookkeepers, tax preparers.
But on the other side, you've got jobs that are proving to be really resilient, jobs that need physical skills and real-world problem solving, like truckers, masons, and mechanics who can fix smart appliances and EVs.
And what's really fascinating is that out of this divide, a new kind of hero is emerging: the blue-collar tech worker. These aren't just manual laborers. These are people who blend digital skills with hands-on work. They're managing fleets of delivery robots from a screen, operating automated warehouses, maintaining EV charging stations. Their skills are actually rare, and they are in very high demand.
Okay, I know this all sounds pretty intense. So, given this new reality, what can you actually do to protect yourself and your family? Let's get practical. This is your personal survival playbook.
At home, people are already getting defensive, adopting what the source material calls the beans and rice strategy. It's all about radical efficiency. Making your coffee at home, using cash envelopes to control spending, fixing things instead of buying new ones, and even decluttering your house to sell stuff for extra cash. It's really a back-to-basics mindset.
And for your broader finances, experts are pretty much united on a 5-step battle plan. 1. Pad your emergency fund. Aim for at least 3 to 6 months of expenses. 2. Go after high-interest debt like crazy to free up cash. 3. Whatever you do, don't panic sell your investments. 4. Start networking and learning new skills now before you're in a tough spot. And 5. Look for ways to diversify your income. All right, let's zoom back out for the final and honestly most crucial takeaway. You have to understand that what we're going through is not a temporary slump. We are not just waiting for things to get back to normal. Normal isn't coming back.
This is a permanent structural shift. This new normal has 3 main features. First, a job market that is forever split between AI-vulnerable jobs and resilient, hands-on jobs. Second, a new focus on bringing supply chains back home. And third, a digital-first economy where ordering online isn't just an option, it's the default.
And that all leads to this really powerful final thought from the research. For the last 20 years, the key to success was being digital first. But now, the source material argues that survival and success is all about being intelligence first. It's not just about using the tech anymore. It's about blending AI's incredible efficiency with uniquely human judgment. And so that's where we'll leave it, with a final question for you to really think about. In this new era, where AI handles all the technical stuff, what is the one uniquely human skill? Whether it's creativity or empathy or strategic thinking, what's the one skill you can build to make yourself truly intelligence first? Because that's the question that will likely define the winners and losers of the next decade.